All right. Is this shit recording? Oh yeah, it's recording. Um, okay, Squid Game Season 3. I made a bunch of notes this time, so I'll be more organized when I'm doing this review. Okay, so if you're here just to hear my opinion, do I recommend to watch this entire show or this entire uh season? My answer is yes, I recommend it. Okay, that's my basic sort of review, and so this review will now get into the more detailed aspects, and I'm not going to talk about spoilers, but I will spoil earlier seasons, which might have, and also a small sort of tiny spoilers for this season, but not really, not serious spoilers. So if you're wanting to go into it completely blind, stop watching this review. I do recommend watching it. Um, but if you're okay with tiny spoilers where I will spoil certain things that happened in earlier seasons and a maybe a quote reference, not I won't actually say what the quote is. I won't say what character says it. I won't say anything to do with the story. Just small references that you might consider spoilers. But anyway, let's get into it. So the good and positive parts of this. So, acting, really good. Acting overall, even with characters that you don't like or care about. Yeah, that's true. So, the acting overall is really good. I'll get into the negatives soon, where um, just because the acting is good doesn't mean uh, that character is necessarily that great or exciting. But I'll get into that later. Um, Number two, filmmaking is really good. Kind of my style with basic shots, but nice long takes, wide shots, angles, kind of like Better Call Saul. Just love that style. Yes, I love that style of filmmaking where it's really simple and it's nothing too flashy or fancy. It's just great filmmaking, in my opinion. And so I just love the filmmaking in the show. It's not necessarily as good as Better Call Saul. That does get a little bit fancy, but that's my favorite kind of style of filmmaking. And so everything to do with the filmmaking is great. Um, CGI and set design is good, mixed with practical effects, which is the best combo if you're going to use CGI and don't want the audience to notice it. Yeah, I can't stand movies or shows that use CGI and you can tell that it's actually CGI. It kind of takes you away from the reality of the show. Am I lagging? I might be lagging. Um, So when CGI is mixed with practical effects, I love that. And the show does this sometimes. Most of the time, it's practical effects with sort of realistic, like if someone dies, the death scenes look realistic with the blood splatter doesn't look CG. Um, the set design is obviously real. It's like real concrete. You can tell that they actually took the time to build those really fascinating sets for the games and the main sort of area where they hang out. And so, yeah, I like it. It's really good. Yeah, I really appreciate when voice crack when you mix CGI with practical effects and it's not like overloading you with a bunch of CG stuff. I could tell sometimes when um, a character is doing something and you see, like, okay, no spoilers, but there's a character that climbs up something, and I could tell pretty much straight away that that particular character is not actually climbing for that particular height. You can tell that the bottom is CGI or maybe some kind of green screen, and that's fine. Um, but they blend it in so well that you can't really tell, and that's good. So next thing. Yes, so here's there's a really cool reference to season 1, episode 1, with one of the main characters saying a quote that's referring to horse racing from the very first season. Not sure if it's episode 1, maybe episode 2, but it's referencing horse racing, and I thought that was really uh, well made because it's near the end of this final season, and I thought that was pretty insightful, and it sort of gives the audience the main lesson or takeaway from the show, what that particular character learned. Because obviously, as the show goes on, you learn that the front man he's pretty much a sociopath. Um, and he in season 2 even he creates the question. Uh, it's in this season, so I don't know actually if it's a spoiler, but he uh, basically makes you question humanity, and he makes player 456 uh, question that, and at the very end he answers that himself. I guess that's kind of a spoiler. Um, to me, that's not really a spoiler because I didn't mention who except for saying 456, and that was already revealed in season 2. So it's not really a spoiler if you've seen season 1 and 2. As I said, don't watch this review if you haven't seen season 1 and 2. Uh, yes. Next positive good thing. Just great entertainment and fun to watch. And that's why I recommend this show. If you're gonna watch a show, I'll get into it too in my negatives, but you might wanna, especially for this season, you might wanna lower your expectations a little bit. I'll get into why. Um, but if you want a show that's not that doesn't like push any agendas or get political and you just want entertainment and a fun show to watch, I really recommend this show. So that's it for the positives. Um, I mean, I'm sure there's more I can find. It's a really good show. For the most part, I do recommend the show, and I give it a positive review. Now, I've added a new sort of section to my review. Usually I do positive, negatives, and then kind of different details, and then I give the review, my rating. I'm adding a new section called middle ground to where I can't necessarily decide if this is a good thing or a bad thing. And maybe it will be revealed in the future whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. But for now, I'm putting it in the middle ground section, meaning it's sort of in the middle of the road. Some people might think it's good, and some people might think it's bad. So the biggest discussion point will definitely be the story and how it ended. With some people, okay, I wrote my notes in like not proper English, you know, sort of short sentences and not necessarily. Anyway, some people will like the ending and some won't. I'm somewhere in the middle where I think the ending is more simple than I thought, which is probably a good thing, but perhaps it was a bad idea to separate season 2 into two halves because that increased expectations to a much higher point, and with the delay between, not a literal delay, but Netflix decided to separate season 2 and season 3. Uh, with the delay between seasons, it gives it gave fans too much time to create theories and get so Jesus and get so excited about potential endings that some fans might be disappointed with the ending. But it's good and simple and probably will become better over time as more Squid Game shows come out with the American version, etc. It might be good to have one more episode in this season to get a little bit deeper with the characters, with what happened in the end, with more details, since some parts near the end might seem rushed. Okay, yeah. I was reading my notes if you couldn't tell. So basically, the ending is quite simple, and I saw a bunch of people on YouTube and other platforms, because of the time gap between season 2 and season 3, it gave the fans a lot of time to create different theories. And I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say conspiracy theories on YouTube because they censored that for some reason, but to create all sorts of different ideas and theories about what will happen at the end, so that increased expectations. And so, uh, if you're expecting something like super shocking, like oh my god, I can't believe that happened, don't expect that coming into this final season. It's really simple, straightforward, um, and it's entertaining and fun to watch. Although this season is definitely uh, the darkest. When I say this season, this is basically just an extension of season 2. It wasn't. It's really obvious it's not supposed to be separated. It's supposed to be just season 1, season 2, and this season 2 is much longer. Um, Not much longer. I don't know. I don't know how many episodes was in season 1, but it gets much darker. They don't even play the sort of cheerful music from season 1, like the those kind of cheerful songs. They don't really play it except for like maybe a couple of times where characters open up sort of certain doors, and when you open up that door, they play this sort of really cheerful music. And obviously, in Korea itself, there's the kids parade where they have a bunch of people dressed in those puppets, those characters like the Pink Bunny and those characters that yeah, in the carnival they play cheerful music during that. But this season is much darker than season 1. Season 1 is more like Mr. Beast type of playful entertainment energy, whereas season 2 and 3 is getting a little bit more psychologically more interesting and darker. And so, what was I gonna say? Dang it, I should have written that as a note, but I was gonna say something important. Oh yeah, I had a theory that um, player 456 is actually a robot, and the front man is um, is creating either this robot or he's having like a Mission Impossible kind of mask on to pretend that he is on the good side, and it will all reveal itself in the end. It'll be this crazy sort of shocking reveal, like taking off the mask or whatever, and none of that happens. So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to um, the theories and stuff that people have. All of them are probably wrong, except for some people that predicted this very simple ending. I don't think a lot of people would have predicted this particular ending because a certain character, something happens to a certain character that uh, I can't say because it's a spoiler. I can't say it. It's so hard not to say it because uh, it's a deeper explanation as to why um, certain characters you you care about, but it kind of gets a little bit too ridiculous, which I'll get into the negatives. With player 222, which is shown in season 2, so I guess I can say it. Um, Her character in particular, you want to watch out for when you watch the season. Yeah, yeah, something happens with her character that is going to be one of the most important aspects of the ending. That some people might like it and some people might not like it. Okay, that's pretty much it for the middle ground. So basically, just lower your expectations in terms of the different theories that you might have about the how it's going to end and all that, and you should be completely fine. It's really good entertainment. Now, negatives. Some characters die and you just don't care. I only really care about the main characters like 456, the frontman, and player 222. You care about her naturally, but then something happens to her that is obviously sad, but also comedic and memeable. Plus, side characters from the first season might be more compelling. Yeah, so in terms of the side characters, a lot of them die, obviously, because in this game only one person can win. And so when they die, you don't care. And that's completely fine. I just put it as a negative because uh, it seems like only they managed to write only a few characters that are written really well. Like even characters that are badass, I don't know what her name is, but that uh chick that's most likely transgender, she's a pretty cool badass character. Um, but I don't really care. I don't know if that sounds bad, but I don't care about um her character, and so when certain things happen, I'm like, meh. Doesn't really matter. This kind of it's the same. It's a really common problem when you write so many different characters, and a lot of them become sort of gimmicks, like that rapper guy. It's sort of just silly comedic relief, and that's fine if that's what they're going for. But if you want me to take it seriously, I guess I would put that as a negative. What else? As mentioned earlier, I can see how some people might not like the ending. No spoilers, but there's some scenes that take place in LA. Yeah, so no spoilers, but that will probably determine whether you like the season or you don't. I'm sort of in the middle of the ending. I think it's a pretty good ending for one half of it, and then the other half of it, I would want them to go a little bit deeper with the main characters, get a sort of more not satisfying conclusion, but um, get us a little bit more emotionally invested in certain uh, characters. And there's certain characters that if you remember season 1, they end up in Los Angeles, and those characters are really important to player 456. No spoilers, but that's when certain fans might not really get that much satisfaction from the ending. Um, and this is where the American version could sort of change that and make it either they'll go the darker route or they'll go the more sort of happy-go-lucky kind of American attitude where it'll be more of a satisfying ending. And I'm excited for the American version. I hope it's good, especially with David Fincher at the head of that. I think that might be pretty good. Let's see. This is my most important complaint. Or my biggest complaint, which is not really that big, it's worth noting. The VIP characters are just bad. Just there for comedic reasons and nothing given of value. Except for that part in season 1 and 2 when the police officer, I don't forget the names because it's all in Korean, but Frontman's brother comes in and questions one of them in a private area to try and get some information. Besides that, the VIPs are pointless and they're just there for like to make fun of them, like just making fun of the super rich, sick people that think that kind of disturbing game would be fun to watch. It's like some parts of this reminds me of the Hunger Games, where you have the people in capital, the capital, this sort of smug, really weird looking rich people that enjoy watching that kind of game where they basically murder people and torture people for fun. Um, and they make fun of them with most of them are white American people. In this one, they added one female Asian, I think. Um, yeah, it's just making fun of that, and it doesn't really push the story forward. I don't care about those characters. They don't really do anything for me as a fan of the show. I never really quite understood what the point of them was, except for comedic relief because their commentary is kind of funny. Because sometimes they say something that you're thinking, but you're thinking as an audience member watching this for an entertainment, but they are actually in the real world, in their world, in the fictional world, but in their real world, watching this, and they're actually sitting there and enjoying this. Like, this is a really sick and disturbing game to be actually sitting there with like a glass of wine or something, be like, ha ha ha, look at these guys, ha, that guy just fell off. Isn't that amazing? Oh, I wonder, oh, what's 456 gonna do now? They make all sorts of these ridiculous comments, and it's obviously just like a mockery of those kind of people that I don't really think exist in real life unless you're crazy. Unless you're a crazy rich person that wants to watch something like that, it's just ridiculous. Um, and that's pretty much my review. Let's see, what's my rating? Anything else to add before I give my rating? I've already been recording for 23 minutes. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Um, yeah. My rating is, I'm gonna change this. I said I was gonna say 8 out of 10 for everything, but I'll change it to, just because it's really inspiring and great that the creator of the show sort of tried to pitch it a bunch of times and failed multiple times, and finally Netflix picked it up for season 1 and it became such a big success. And how I love the filmmaking. It's sort of good and inspiring for an aspiring filmmaker like myself. So I was gonna say 8 out of 10, but now I'll give it a 9 out of 10 for filmmaking. And for everything else, season 3 and the show as a whole, I give it a 8 out of 10. It's a good foundation / beginning to what could become a great franchise if done right. And I hope it's done right. I hope this is not like, I don't know, freaking Star Wars or something where they continue it for so long with prequels and sequels and different sort of individual stories and the American version to where they kind of ruin the vibe of the show. So I hope it continues being really good with really good storytelling and characters and sort of psychological life lessons that you can get from it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the, I think the American version is coming up, and maybe I think the 1980 something. Some people are talking about a spin-off with the frontman. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. By the way, if you like my videos and you want to support me, you can check out the link in the description. You can there's a buy me coffee link and a PayPal link. If you enjoy my content and you want to support me in that sort of way, you don't have to, but even like $1 would be really appreciated, and I would be grateful for that. Um, if you like my content in any way, that sort of support would be great. And so the links for that is in the description below. And besides that, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye.